Hi, my voice is still this. This is still my voice. Suki wanted to join. Come here, baby. She'll probably lay down. Anyway, I thought today would be really fun if we talked about the my personal top 5 things that we did in Vegas. I thought it would be really fun to kind of just look back at everything that we did and not just give it a review, but like kind of go a little bit more into detail. Because when you're like living in it and you're like in it, it's hard to, I don't know, like talk about it because by the end of the day, you're exhausted and you don't want to add anything because you're getting ready for the next thing that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about what we did in Vegas, my top 5 things that we did, why I loved it, and maybe a few tips along the way. So let's get started. All right, so I don't know if they're in like any particular order exactly, but I kind of came up with the order based on my last one being like my number 1. So we'll go from, things I liked to things I loved. So number 5 was the Mega Mart. And by that, I mean Area 15, which is its own thing. So there's Area 15, and within Area 15, there's the Mega Mart. And they have a whole bunch of other things going on as well. There's super cool shops in there, boba, and then like a lot of different art installations that my sister and I did last time we were there in April. But this time we finally made it to the Omega Mart. So I actually didn't really have much of a concept of what Omega Mart was. I just thought it was like this really cool, like, art installation sort of thing. Turns out there's this whole backstory of not just a scavenger hunt, but also a mystery that you have to solve as well. And the mystery is really, really cool. So my suggestion is to make sure that you, before you get into the other side, right? The trippy art installation, things are getting wacky and weird, like extra weird. Stay in the storefront and finish all your employee training before you get into the other side. And then as you start to go through the other side, go into all the different portals and the computers, and then you start to learn about the mystery and the story behind Omega Mart and what your mission is and how you can save basically humanity. So it's really cool. It's like this take on capitalism and marketing and aliens and energy beings and being beyond just the human form. It's just really cool. And like, who's the real bad guy? And, that sort of thing. And like, it's just really neat and very fun. And as you go through, as you get closer and closer to the end, things that you do throughout this scavenger hunt, you actually start to affect the entire area. So like Omega Mart is completely and entirely affected as you get closer and closer to finishing and solving this mystery. So, and you don't realize it because, things are constantly changing throughout once you get onto the other side. But as you start doing it, you realize, that sound before was somebody having solved the mystery. So like you are affecting the entire world, this back world, as you solve the mystery. It is very, very cool. It is very fun once you figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, like I didn't know what I was doing, so I feel like I wasted a lot of time just exploring and looking at things. And then once I kind of figured out what was going on, it got even more fun and more immersive because I had to solve the mystery and save the day. It was very cool. So Omega Mart at Area 15, very, very cool. Brilliant, brilliant storytelling and very cool art installations as well. Number 4 on my list would be the Bellagio fountains. They are spectacular. We kept missing them because, I don't know, we never ended up on that side of the Vegas Strip until the literal last day. And also, I guess, technically the first day, but by the end of Awakening, we were like exhausted and we just wanted to get back to the hotel room and pass out. Excuse me. As you can hear from my voice, I'm still kind of getting over this post-nasal drip and all the people smoking and all this other stuff, so give me grace. Anyway, we were exhausted, so we didn't really explore much on that first full day there. But on our last day, I was like, we gotta get to these things. We gotta see the Bellagio fountains. We gotta see the Bellagio Conservatory Gardens, which unfortunately, they were being worked on for Christmas. So if we had seen them that day we were on that side of the strip, we would have seen what they had up before they started switching it up and changing it for Christmas. But when we got there, they were already in the middle of changing it over for the holidays, which is such a bummer because, you know, it's so beautiful. And it's just like great pictures and beautiful installations, and they're all real flowers. Don't get me wrong, the Wynn also has beautiful art, you know, like flower installations and stuff like that. So we got to see that at least. But yeah, the Bellagio one is just unbelievable. So we missed that. But we were able to see the Bellagio fountains, sadly on the other side, because they were just starting as we approached it, and we couldn't get to the other side in time because we had to leave to get on the airplane by the time the next show would have started. So don't go, stay with me. Stay, please. Please stay with me. I need a puppy. So yeah. But anyway, the Bellagio fountains, beautiful, super cool. We had this really cute kid next to us. He was like, go higher, go higher. It was really fun. Anyway, number 4 was the Bellagio fountains.
Wow.
Number 3. Number 3. What was number 3, Suki? Number 3 was the Cherry Perry brunch that we had. So on our first morning that we woke up, we went to the Perry on the Strip, and on Perry, they had just opened. Literally, it was open for 7 weeks at this point, less than 2 months. You're leaving me? Fine. And it is this beautiful Parisian, you know, styled brunch restaurant, and you eat it literally underneath the Eiffel Tower. So cool, so chic. I had this incredible mocktail, which was like that PT, the tea that is this beautiful it's like this violet, and then when you pour any citrus in it, in this case it was lychee, which is my favorite, lychee juice, it turns into this vibrant like magenta. Oh my god, it was so delicious. And I had been craving croissants for so long. Croissant for so long, especially good French croissants. Last time I had an amazing French croissant was in Paris, so Paris, because I'm a brat, guys. Anyway, it was phenomenal. It was everything I wanted that croissant to be. And then they gave me a side of Nutella so I could have my croissant and Nutella. It was delicious. It was amazing. And I had a little petite salade on the side. And Kelly had a lobster Cobb salad, which also looked fantastic, but the lobster was a little lacking. That is not on my number 2. It's on number 3 because it literally took 2 hours. And I'm not saying 2 hours of waiting to get a table because we had reservations. I'm saying 2 hours to be served, and like everything came out at like a snail's pace. Like everybody else in the entire restaurant was served before us. Guys, I ordered a croissant. I ordered a croissant and I was the last person served. Like, it was ridiculous. But I will say, our server was really, really wonderful. And so he gave us a mojito on the house because he felt bad. And he also gave us this beautiful dessert as well because he felt so bad that we were literally the last ones sitting there and the last ones served, despite being like the first people there. And then he also gave us this really pretty elephant pin. If you know anything about my sister, elephants are very important in her sorority. But the elephant is supposed to represent memory and good luck and wealth. So anybody who had this pin and wore it was like, these are the things that were given to people who owned a part of this restaurant. And so he gave it to us to remember the restaurant by, which I thought was really, really cool and special. So that was really neat. My number 2 was the incredible show that we saw at the Wynn. Now, this was our first full night there. And it was at the Wynn, which is a super chic hotel on the Strip. It was across the street from the Mirage where we stayed in April. And it is like the most gorgeous hotel in the sense of like, it's boutique, but it's also like, you can tell is bougie. It is bougie, okay? So anyway, beautiful hotel. They had this show called Awakening, and it was otherworldly. It had acrobatics, it had like Cirque du Soleil sort of situation, it had magic sort of like tricks in it, and it had like a whole theme of like light and dark and fire, and you know, the moon and the sun, and it was a cute story, and the costumes were incredible, and everything was just extravagant and beautiful and huge and just amazing. So I absolutely loved it. We loved it. And yeah, it was just, I mean, you can see for yourself. It is an amazing, amazing show. And then, yeah. So my number 1 thing that we did when we were in Vegas, and don't get me wrong, if I wasn't talking about, oh shoot, no, I'm not sure. So, okay, so I also like, if I'm talking about like things in Vegas, then this is my full list. But I'm talking about things you can do in Vegas, but also like get out of it, like tours. There's a tour, this is totally offhand, so this is like out of Vegas. There's a tour that will take you to California and back, and it'll take you to all the cool hot spots. So it takes you to Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. It takes you to, where else did we go? Hollywood, the Walk of Stars, Walk of Stars? Hollywood Walk of Stars? Hollywood Boulevard, with all the stars that you walk on. The Walk of Fame, thank you. The Walk of Fame. And actually, I was going through some old photos, and last time hubby Sean was in California, which was, gosh, I want to say 2012 maybe. He actually has this picture next to Robin Williams' star, and Robin Williams has always meant such a great deal to me, which is so funny because I totally forgot he had taken that picture. I also have some footage and everything on Robin Williams' star, and in front of the Chinese theater, where I can also put my hands where his hands were. Carpe diem, as they say. It was really special. It really meant a lot to me, and as somebody who absolutely loves Robin Williams, it was really special to share that space with him, to know that his hands were where my hands were. Like, no, because that was his imprint, you know? And it sounds silly, but I really do love Robin Williams. He just always held a very special place in my heart. And so to have that chance to put my hands where his hands were was really special. And what he wrote was Carpe Diem, seize the day. And I think that's really apt as well. So that's just my aside. So my number one, my number one thing to do in Vegas, the top 5 in Vegas, is the sign. I know, it sounds so stupid and silly, but I genuinely have so much fun when we're at the sign, because for whatever reason, those pictures are always the best pictures. It's always, the sun is out and it's like bright and beautiful, and there's always somebody there. Like, I know they don't actually work for the sign, but they do such a good job of corralling people and making sure that everyone has their chance and they get tips. You should give them a tip because they deserve it. They really do keep it being less chaotic and let you have your space. So, yeah, the sign is really cool and really special, and I love it. I know it sounds so silly that it's the sign. Why should the sign be the number one thing in Vegas? But it's really good. And like, I mean, how do you choose top 5? I mean, the Bellagio Hotel is so beautiful, and Caesar's Palace is out of this world, crazy gorgeous, with the gods of the Fountain of the Gods. And I mean, it's just incredible. When you go, it's so weird. Okay. Let me start over. When you go to California and Hollywood and you see all these places, you're like, wow, in the movies, they look so much bigger, You're expecting it to be like huge and like all these places to be so far away from each other and like the back lots and all these other things. But when you're there, you're like, everything is like all close together, but it's also like, it's so much smaller than you realize. Like the tower that was in the Ghostbusters, where they had like, that whole, where they're getting their powers and stuff, that thing, that's there. That's on Hollywood Boulevard. It's like tiny. It's tiny. You're thinking it's like this skyscraper in New York. It's not. It's like barely 10 stories. I feel like 10 stories is too high. It's like barely 5 stories. Like, it's crazy how small it is. But then when you go to Vegas, everything is huge and like extravagant and out of this world, crazy big and beautiful, and just like nothing like you've ever experienced or seen before. And if you're looking for that feeling, Vegas is just unbelievable. Like, you'll never understand Vegas until you get there. And like, I do the innocent things in Vegas. I don't gamble. I don't drink. I don't do the clubs. I don't do any of that stuff. So, I mean, maybe if you do that stuff, you'll find that Vegas is even more fun. But for me, just like being there and like experiencing these outrageous and extravagant hotels and palaces in Paris, and it's just otherworldly. It's just like nothing you'll ever experience anywhere else in the world. Anyway, so those are my top 5 things to do in Vegas. I had an unbelievably incredible time. It was absolutely magical. And if you ever get the opportunity, if you need any advice or anything like that, let me know in the comments, and I will do another video on how it all went, how we got to everywhere, everything we booked. If you want our itinerary, I can do that too. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I need to rest my voice and get this video out, and I will see you tomorrow. Until next time.